What is going on, comic fam? Welcome back to another episode of Who You Gonna Cast, and we are casting the Green Lantern.
I can feel your anger. It gives you focus.
And we have a stacked panel here. I've picked some of my friends who are big Green Lantern fans. You all know John from John's Comics with Kids.
What is up?
Welcome back. Welcome back.
Surprised I got the invite to come back again. I mean, after I lit the place on fire last time.
Yeah, there was about 6 people that turned me down. I was like, all right, I'll ask John. We'll see.
Hey, as long as I get the invite.
Then also joining us, new to the show, we have Todd from Comic Burrito, who I think is a little bit of a Green Lantern fan, which is why he was asked. And then also, oh wow, in the socks. So he's full go.
And the belt. Yeah, it's a whole thing.
Okay, so Todd's in full Green Lantern form today. And then also rounding out our cast, we have none other than Darryl Banks, who
the brightest day.
Co-creator of one of most of our favorite Green Lanterns, Kyle Rayner. So so thank you all just for agreeing to hop on, have some fun as we make fun of each other's picks and talk about who we would cast in Green Lantern. And so to start us off, we're going to go, if you're new to the show, we will list off different characters. So we're going to be casting for Hal Jordan, Jessica Cruz, John Stewart, Kyle Rayner, and Sinestro. We're going to go around. We'll pick one character at a time. We'll each share why we chose that character. And then we're going to vote as a panel on casting our Green Lantern. So up first, we're going to have Hal Jordan. We're going to cast Hal Jordan. And since, John, you love to talk about how you're so good at this episode in the show of casting, who are you casting as Hal Jordan?
It's hilarious because 10 years ago, this would have been the easiest thing for me because I'm a huge Nathan Fillion fan. And I love that act. Firefly is the greatest. And I would have loved, I just feel like my age, I wanted to age everybody down. And in the end, it became like, I'm looking for somebody in that 35, 45 range for Hal. And with Nathan pushing into the 50s, I just felt like I wanted somebody younger. So I'm going to go with somebody that's pretty traditional for this consideration for pretty much any lead superhero in these days. I'm going to go with John Krasinski. He's got the sense of humor. You've seen him as a elite soldier in lots of movies. He could definitely look like he takes command. I think he's just a really strong actor. I know a lot of people consider him for everything these days, but I think he'd make a great Hal Jordan. I think he'd be awesome.
Nice. All right. Okay.
Decent.
All right. I like the
pick. Yeah, he's 41. He's like right there in the prime spot.
Darryl, who are you going to be casting for Hal Jordan?
Well, it's like I can't really get past who I cast Hal when I was drawing the book. A young Dennis Quaid. And the reason I chose him was because he was in 2 movies that really, I felt it showed classic Hal and Parallax. If you've ever seen the movie Enemy Mine, when he was the pilot, and he's got the white jumpsuit on, I'm like, wow, that's classic Hal. And if you've ever seen the romantic comedy, however you would describe it, called, what was the name of the movie? It had Deborah Winger in it. He played a guy that he and his brother were mutants and they had flame powers. And one just wanted to be a firefighter, and the other, the Dennis Quaid character, he wanted to use his flame powers for money to show off. And he had this red kind of like armored looking thing. I'm like, yep, there's my Parallax. So, young Dennis Quaid was my kind of like my jumping off point when I was drawing Hal Jordan.
Nice.
Who I cast now, it's hard to say, but it's set in stone. Young Dennis Quaid is my take on Hal Jordan.
Yeah. It's hard when you've no, I've already established this is who I want. There's nothing else.
But a young Dennis Quaid would be amazing. Like if you could take that young Dennis Quaid, that's a great call.
Yeah. Oh man. All right, Todd, who are you casting as Hal Jordan?
I have the same issue John had where I casted Hal Jordan 20 years ago. It was Nathan Fillion. As soon as Firefly happened, when my friends would do this whole thing, like who would play what, I've been saying Nathan Fillion for 2 decades. And then I found out I can't say Nathan Fillion for this. And I'm like, oh no, that's been my answer. Because he's so cocky and very capable in Firefly, and that's so Hal. Like it's like, oh, I really hate your confidence, but then you back it up and you're just amazing. It's like, all right, cool, you earned the cockiness. And someone who I think embodies that. And I always picture an older Hal when I picture, especially dealing with a Kyle and having these different characters and a Yellow Lantern Sinestro. Theoretically, I picture an older Hal, and I went with John Hamm, who plays that cocky role super well, has comedy chops all over the place, but then also does dramatic, because Hal has to kind of cover a lot of different spectrums if you're talking, like at least a trilogy. And I think John Hamm also just has the look. He's got the Hal hair, and he can do the beard if need be for like grizzled, like evil Hal. It's great. So yeah, John Hamm.
Hashtag Hal hair. I love it.
Yeah.
Hal hair, so good. So this happened right off the bat that this episode we've had it where we've had guests pick the same person, and we're starting with round one with two people picking the same person. And I had cast John Krasinski as Hal Jordan as well. I was trying to think of a modern day who could pull off, and he has the comedic chops, but he also has just like the acting chops, and he's been able to separate himself in my eyes as a diehard fan of The Office from his role as Jim now to like where I'm like, okay, that's I know like that's always a hang up for people, like, oh, they're typecast as this because we've known them for 8 years or whatever. And man, so I went with John Krasinski as my Hal Jordan.
Whoa.
So
we never agree on anything. What's going on?
We don't. This is a rarity. So we've got 2 for John Krasinski. We've got 1 for a John Hamm, and we've got a bottle up young Dennis Quaid.
And that movie is Wilder Napalm, the one that Darryl mentioned earlier.
That's
pyrotechnics.
That's it.
Yeah. So it's a good. It's a very good. It's a fun movie. Fun movie.
I'll have to watch that. It sounds dope.
Right. Well, so now here's a part of where we ask, like, do people agree? Did anyone sway anybody's decision? And then we basically go with what's the majority. So, and if you like, I like my answer, I'm keeping it. You keep your answer. Like that's how it works.
So I think John Krasinski, as soon as you clean shave him, I'd have an issue with him being Hal, and I think that it would be a problem. But I'm swayed enough, especially with 2 votes on him, where I'm like, I would be so interested to see him do that, because I don't think it'd be a step for John Hamm to pull out his Mad Men like cocky attitude and all of that, whereas like Krasinski having that action movie background already instilled, I think I got swayed. I think that would be interesting enough for me to be like, all right, let's see that. I want to see that smirk towards the camera from Hal.
Oh, so I like the John Hamm idea. Although for the longest, he was my replacement for Robert Downey Jr. as the next Iron Man. Because, we're not done with Iron Man movies. They're going to reboot, these soon enough. And so, he was kind of like my pick for Tony Stark. But, as we've seen, you can be multiple characters, and even in the same universe. So, I kind of like, I'm like, I may have to sketch that. What would John Hamm as a Hal Jordan? More like an older Hal Jordan,
Yeah.
But I think that could work. Now, that being said, John Krasinski, to me, he's Reed Richards all day. It's like, I'm like, no, I'm putting him in a bottle till we do Fantastic Four. He's my Reed Richards. So
yeah.
Love it.
Oh, I really want to see that sketch now, real bad.
And I will say, I love John Hamm, and I think he's also got a great ability to do comedy and drama. I think that's one of the things that he's been consistently, whether it's on Saturday Night Live or whatever, he's been able to show he has that range. But I'm gonna stick with the Krasinski. I think I having seen him, in full, special forces gear running around, like I just feel like he looks and acts, he can pull the soldier side off, right, the pilot, but he could also, I think, do the cocky goofball kind of at the same time.
Yeah, and that I almost didn't cast John as Hal because of what Darryl said, like Reed Richards for me through and through. But you also said how
He could
they
do
can
both.
be in both. So I'm gonna
He
say,
can do
you know
both.
what?
He could.
I'm
in
gonna
this
have
day
them
and
be
age.
both. So I think the panel has at least has a majority that we're gonna go with John Krasinski for our Hal for this one. So up next is Jon Stewart. So Todd, who are you casting for Jon Stewart?
You broke my heart twice with this, because I have been casting Jon Stewart for a decade now, since Luther came out, and it's been Idris Elba for over a decade. It fits so well. And stupid Suicide Squad, like a week ago, this would have been the easiest choice. Be like, Idris Elba, let's go. So since I had to pivot because of reality for some reason, also because Idris on The Office has an awesome American accent,
Right.
so he can actually be Marine Corps. Like, it's not like, oh, it's a British Jon Stewart. He could play Jon Stewart. Nerds. But so instead I pivoted, and I went with Ricky Whittle. I first saw him in the 100. I watched the first couple seasons live when it was coming out. It was a CW show, and he played just like a very stoic warrior type, didn't talk too much. But then now he is Shadow in American Gods and does phenomenally. He's just this like rock of an actor. And he can do, like, he's built, he has the look and he has the chops to be that serious character while still caring, because it's not like Jon Stewart's cold. Jon Stewart's just very internalizes a lot, and it takes a really subtle actor to get across like being stoic while still caring and showing emotion. And I've seen that from Ricky Whittle for like years now, and I think he'd be great. He'd be on the younger side for a Jon Stewart, because I like Idris Elba right now. That gray beard and everything. I'd be like, oh, that'd be a really dope looking Jon Stewart, grizzled veteran guy. But I think Ricky Whittle would be a good guy to start off, and then you got movies upon movies with him. You got another 10 years with him.
Okay. All right. I like it. All right, moving on. Darryl, who are you picking for John?
That was a tough one, but I thought, because he's done the superhero movie thing and he's even done the military thing, Michael B. Jordan. I pictured him in the green suit. You know, it was one of those things where, I mean, this was, I just thought of that today, because, you know, obviously I've been thinking about who I'd casted him for, you know, since the 90s, but it was like just today I thought, wow, yeah, he can do it all. I think that could possibly work.
Okay, I like it.
And I will say, when I mentioned I was doing this, my whole family, that's exactly where all of them were like, why isn't it Michael B. Jordan? And I'm like, yeah, because he's everything, right? He's Creed, he's, you know, Killmonger, like he is so versatile. He's amazing. And then now he's got that Without Remorse show movie over on Amazon.
Yep.
Great pick. But I skewed a little older, and I wanted somebody that would like partner or pair with Hal a little bit and be in that like elder crew. So I went with Sterling K. Brown, who is an actor I love.
Also
from
a good
This
choice.
Is Us.
Yeah.
Just he's got the physique, like he is just built, but he's also got the range so that he can give a character who doesn't necessarily emote a lot or give huge dramatic emotional moments, but has all of it playing underneath, and you can see it in the words that he says. You can see the layers going on underneath for me.
Okay.
So I considered a lot of people, but you know, I think Sterling K. Brown is just an amazing actor and could just totally do that character perfectly.
All right. Wow. So y'all have mentioned two that were on my list, so this is interesting. I ended up going with I'm gonna butcher the name because I always do. Mahershala Ali.
Blade.
Blade. Blade. He was in Moonlight. He plays that stoic character well. I think he has a commanding presence, and I I landed on him. I went Michael B. Jordan. I went Sterling K. Brown from what was it, Parenthood, that he was on that we always watched. But I went with Ali on my pick. So I don't know. This is gonna be interesting to see what people think. Ricky, I don't know enough about Ricky Whittle. Like I didn't watch the 100 and stuff. So like that's a sleeper pick for me.
It's a lot like the Sterling pick in terms of how they act and everything.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. You're like, it's like, oh, he's describing Ricky.
And he is like a ripped guy. Like he is just ripped. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So where are we gonna go? Are people sticking with their picks, or did anyone go, you know what? I think
Sterling Brown actually is working a little bit better the more I think about it.
That's the one that I'd be only willing to switch for because it's basically like my pick. So I'm like, and no one knows Ricky Whittle, so I'm like, that works for me. It's like the same thing. They would have read for the same part, done it the same. You'd be like, oh, okay, yeah.
If I was doing a Hal Jordan, a John Stewart origin, then I would definitely be doing the Michael B. Jordan. Like I would, if it was a younger storyline when you know he's getting the ring for the first time and
For the first time.
that would be the guy for me. So I guess it would just depend on what film they're making, what story they're making for me.
Yeah, because Michael B. Jordan has the acting chops to really emote, and that's not a super Jon Stewart thing, but a young Jon Stewart might do that, and then he slowly evolves into that just like cool confidence. But you could get that like brash Jon Stewart in the beginning.
Oh man, I think we're leaning towards Sterling K. Brown then, and I think that is because he was on my short list, and Daryl's feeling a little swayed, and Todd says, you know what? It's the same guy. You guys just don't know my guy, so we'll go with the one that people know.
Yeah, that works.
You should watch American Gods if you've never seen it.
Oh my goodness. And read it. It's one of my favorite books, and the show is just,
there you go.
That rarely happens.
Right?
All right. We're going Jessica Cruz then. Darryl, who are you picking for Jessica?
Toughest one. I mean, I was almost like eeny, meeny, miny, mo. I think I said Selena Gomez. You know, I had nothing.
Okay.
All right.
Well, it's tough. I think this is a category too where you have like the actress is going to be someone really young with maybe a limited repertoire, and you know, maybe people haven't seen the things that they've done. Everyone on my list was like, well, if you haven't seen, you know, this movie, you probably have never heard of this person. Right. So it's a really tricky one. I don't blame you.
Yeah, this was a tough one for me. This was probably, it's a little bit more of a out there casting, but I went with just pull up the name to make sure I say it correctly. I went with Stephanie Beatrice
from Brooklyn
Nine-Nine. She plays Rosa Diaz on the show Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Just kind of like that really hardcore, like, and so like I feel like she could bring some like, not humor as much, but like just like this kind of like presence of like relatability that I feel like you would want in a Jessica. She has a little bit of a repertoire of, she's a little older, I think, for what we've been casting. But I just, when I saw her in that role, like that was the first thing I was thinking of when I was looking at, okay, let's look at Jessica Cruz, kind of who she is. And I went with her. I went with Rosa Diaz.
Love that show. Brooklyn Nine-Nine is a great show. She's so funny on that show.
Yes. It's funny you say that. I don't know what order we're going in, but I'm going to go next because it's funny that you picked Stephanie Beatrice because she was on my short list, but I went with Melissa Fuermo, which is the other Latina actress from Brooklyn Nine-Nine. She plays a very anxious character, and it's immediately, because that's the thing, you don't get a lot of actors, because Jessica Cruz is powered by her anxiety, and that's literally what Amy Santiago in Brooklyn does. So she's been doing it for years, where it's I'm neurotic and I have all this anxiety, but I funnel it into getting like stuff done, and I'm really productive, and I'm really strong, and I don't let it be a crutch. I make it so I'm the best. And she's been doing, I'm like, oh my God. But Stephanie was on it in terms of like when you look at her, you're like, oh, you are just a Jessica. So it's like if we could get that, like just
Blend it
a
together.
category.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
perfect. But I went with what I've seen her do versus the look, and I think Melissa really nails that. But oh my god, amazing!
That's
I
so
love
funny.
it. It's so great.
All right, John.
I just love the love for Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and I considered both of those ladies were on my short list, so absolutely phenomenal. And I skewed younger, like I was saying. I went with a lady who's 31. Her name is Eiza Gonzalez, and she was in Baby Driver. If you didn't see that movie, she was in Hobbs and Shaw. She had a small role in Alita: Battle Angel and in Godzilla versus Kong. But she's got that serious, like I can walk into a boardroom and tell everybody what to do. But I think she's also got that, like she can like project a lot of intense emotion real easily.
What was her role in Godzilla versus Kong?
She was Maya Simmons, Maia. She was like the one that like the lady in the boardroom to basically like explain everybody what's going on.
Okay.
Let's see what they say about her here. A top-tier Apex cybernetics executive. And Walter Simmons' daughter. So Walter Simmons.
That character. Okay. Yeah, that's what I thought you meant. Yeah, okay.
The woman behind the company, basically. Yeah.
Okay, right. What that got crushed in the vehicle. Yeah, okay. All right. Yeah, all right. That's a good choice. Good choice.
So I went younger for her just to have something to play off of an older group. But if we're going with a younger, Hal Jordan and a younger it's going to be, you could mix this up a lot. So yeah, that's the character, the actress I went with. Eiza, it's Eiza Gonzalez.
Okay. Wow. I think this is going to be a tough one to narrow down. I don't know. What are people thinking?
I'm not swayed.
I need to watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Apparently, that
Apparently
sounds like a great show.
It's
I've never
amazing.
seen it. I've never seen it.
Oh man!
And I will say,
dozens of times at this.
I would probably lean towards Todd's pick of the two ladies on Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I just like her range of emotion more. I think I from what I've seen of her, the woman who plays Amy Santiago, she's got a lot more going. So I would probably skew towards Todd's pick personally.
Okay.
Over your pick.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, the problem is she's older, right? She's like 40.
Yeah, I think she's like right at 40, basically.
Yeah, that's my only concern. But I mean, like, that's an overall universe thing, the Green Lantern universe thing. What about you, Greg? What are you thinking?
I could go Todd's pick. I could do it. So I think I get what Todd is saying about her personality is more of a Jessica Cruz, where I felt like Stephanie looks more like a Jessica Cruz. So and I'm not as familiar with your character's pick as much, John. And Darryl, you didn't really sell me on Selena Gomez because I don't think you sold yourself.
I'm not sold myself. That was at random just before the show. So I'm like, no.
So I think we will give this to Todd's pick then.
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
Melissa, and how do you spell your last name again, Todd?
Fumero, Fumero.
All right. So we got two more picks left, gang. We decided we want to save Sinestro for last, which means we are now going into Kyle Rayner. And this is going to be I feel like the toughest pick that I had coming into it, trying to get a character. I also think it's just really going to be tough because I'm just like, man, Darryl's going to judge so much.
The creator of the character is sitting here.
No pressure. No pressure at all.
So I guess I haven't gone first yet, so I'll take the lead on this one. I was trying to find a character who's young. I wanted the kind of Hispanic American descent, like to try and and it was tough to find, but I went with Tyler Garcia Posey, who is from he's mostly well known for Teen Wolf, but he also is he just has been in a lot of other stuff that I'm like, I think he has the look of a young Kyle Rayner, because I really wanted to focus in on the young aspect of it. But he had a lot of actual, like he had small parts in a handful of action movies. He's been doing some voiceover work for Marvel, so he has that kind of superhero in the animated realm. So I went with Tyler Garcia Posey for my pick.
And if you guys haven't seen, the Teen Wolf show is actually pretty good. It's on. It's an MTV show. It ran for about 6 seasons.
Yeah. So
I have it. I was trying to Google what was his name. I want to
Tyler.
Don't use the Garcia. Posey. It's just Tyler Posey.
Tyler Posey. It depends on where you look. But yeah, Tyler Posey.
Wow. Yeah, he's got a good look for him.
Can I also say, like, and maybe this is something Darryl could mention if he has thoughts on this as well. I've noticed online with fan casting sites and the I guess the ancestral ambiguity of Kyle Rayner through history. Like you see so many sites fan casting him as Asian or white or what, like it. I don't know how you can. I would be fascinated to consider how you drew him, because his heritage is written as Hispanic and Irish, as I recall. But like you see the fan casting sites are all like, look at all these Asian actors we're going to cast.
It's funny having drawn the character. When Ron and I created it, he was just Irish, and that was it. The Irish Latino came that came with Judd Winnick, which worked. But I mean, the original concept of the character, he was Irish. So now we've taken another direction, and I could never find just that one actor that I really felt like he's going to be my basis. I mean, and I tried over 8 years. I thought, with how it was easy. I mean, day one, young Dennis Quaid. I'm like, okay, who's next? Like the main character. I was finding someone for Donna, someone for Jade, but with Kyle, I just could never do it, and I wanted to. So just today, I went to some fan casting sites. I'm like, well, who are they suggesting? Like you said, I'm seeing a lot of Asian characters. Like that's a different, maybe a parallel world, but it's the main one. So I came across one. They suggested this guy that was from the Vampire Diaries. His name is, if I'm saying this right, Ian Somerhalder. Ian Somerhalder. Yeah. But he's 41. But some of the younger pictures, he has that kindness plus severity that I think how I drew Kyle. I'm like, oh, that could work. I've never heard of this guy, never seen the show, but it was like for 8 years I literally tried to find just that one guy, but could never do it. But sure. I like the suggestion as far as and the suggestion you guys just made with this Tyler Posey. He could work as well. I've never heard of him. Not sure. You say he's from Teen Wolf?
Teen Wolf was his big.
Okay.
And then he's had a lot of smaller roles where, I mean, yeah, Ian, though, like you said, Vampire Diaries, he was Boone on Lost. So
Rules of Attraction.
Yeah. So,
okay.
I mean, I wasn't going to go Rules of Attraction, Todd, but
I'm just saying, I love that movie and he's in it. He did a good job.
Okay.
Oh, man. All right. So we've got Tyler Posey, Ian Somerhalder. Todd, what are you going with?
I have the right answer. I've been saying it for years. So, it's the right answer. Joseph Gordon-Levitt. I don't need to get in, I don't need to amp it up or anything. That is Kyle Rayner. He already is that creative, using all these different skills to make things. Like, he is a Kyle Rayner in real life in terms of what he does and how he lives and all of that. And then translating him, he would be completely different, because I love the idea of it being not an action star. Kyle Rayner isn't somebody he was handpicked. He wasn't the classic Green Lantern guy. He was a creative. He's different. And Joseph Gordon-Levitt is like the Paul Rudd for the Avengers. Like, it's just like, oh, he's not Chris Evans, but he's perfect because he's different. And I think Joseph Gordon-Levitt could really have that thing where it's like, oh, you're in a different suit. You're a different person. You aren't the stereotypical superhero guy. And that's what I love about Kyle. And I think that he would nail it perfectly. I don't care what his age is. That's my Kyle Rayner.
That's a great pick. I love Joseph Gordon-Levitt. He's just awesome and can do anything. That guy is unbelievably talented.
He'd be my pick for Nightwing.
Oh,
Whatever I think of, because he almost was.
He almost was
Robin in the Dark Knight, but
as close as we're gonna get in the Nolan verse, right?
Yep.
I guess, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so I guess we can be friends again, Greg, because I picked Tyler Posey too. No joke. I was like trying to keep it together the whole time you were talking about, oh, he's on this show, Teen Wolf, and I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm picking the same as my same pick, absolutely. So I do think Todd's sales pitch is spot on as far as the artist and the sort of like non-superhero qualities I think are hugely important to that character, and not making him the typically ripped run to the rescue superhero, but instead make him the feeler thinker that is different than the action oriented some of those other characters. And Tyler, I think, could pull that off in a big way. And I like what he did on the Teen Wolf show. Again, like Darryl said, the look, I think he's got the look for sure. Mm-hmm. And the age, he's the youngest of all the picks that I went with. Just I wanted him to be a balance to some of the older statesmen on the team. Yeah. I went with Tyler.
Man, so we had two for Tyler, one for Joseph Gordon, and one for Ian. So I'm wondering which.
I'm switching mine to Tyler as well.
And I can't sway. I have to stay put, but it is what it is. But I have to stay firm.
I mean, I liked your reasons. What you were going for. That made sense.
Honestly, the age is if this was before, I would put up much more of a stink. But I'm like, Joseph Gordon-Levitt's getting up there, and this guy looks like, it's perfect.
So like, I feel so bad for Todd, because like if we cast this Green Lantern movie 10 years ago, it'd be Nathan Fillion, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and Idris Elba.
And we would all stand in line for hours to watch that movie, just to be honest.
Sounds amazing. And Ryan Reynolds as Guy. Sounds incredible.
We'll let you have Joseph Gordon though. He'll make an appearance as Nightwing in our movie.
He just flies around. He just swinging on his staff for a second, and then there he goes.
Oh man, that's a good.
I just did a commission of those two.
Oh, nice.
Of Nightwing and Kyle Rayner.
Amazing.
That's awesome.
Two of the best characters.
So we are down to our final pick, gang. And this is I love this. This has been a blast. This is always fun, just getting to just talk about like fan fiction stuff that never is probably going to happen, but it's fun to just have these debates and conversations. But we wanted to save the baddie for last, and we wanted to go with Sinestro. So to someone who wants to lead off with Sinestro, I've always been calling y'all out. Who's like, nah, here's my pick. Who's going to sell it?
I'll go first. I will say, like, Sinestro for me, I mean, I'm an X-Men fan first and then a Green Lantern fan second. Like, Sinestro is the Magneto of that universe. Mm-hmm. Like, hashtag Sinestro was right. Like, I do feel like this is, I think as much as I loved Mark Strong as that character, my worry is that people will cast typical villain actors. And I think what you need is somebody with a like hero side to them, somebody that looks like they were right all along and can sell you that they might actually not just be maniacal. And so I've narrowed it down to some older actors that I thought could do that. And I really wanted to go with this 62-year-old guy. And I think I'm just going to go all in and go with Viggo Mortensen. Like I'm going to go with Viggo. The guy who helped get Frodo to Mordor, like, could sell me on his maniacal scheme. I know he's getting old, and so I went with the 62-year-old, but like,
great choice.
I think he could do the look. He could be menacing if you've seen Eastern Promises. Like, he can be menacing, but he can also like have the heart on the inside where you can see there's goodness in there. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Viggo.
It makes sense. He trained Hal, so it makes sense he would be the next step older. Like, I'll piggyback as It's kind of similar. Basically, up until you say the name is almost what I was thinking is somebody who's non-threatening, because ideally, this isn't one movie. You'll get Green Lantern Sinestro back because, you know, he's got to come back for a little bit. And then you got to have heroic Sinestro. He can't just be an evil guy, because sometimes he's the hero. Sometimes Hal is too much of a dirtbag and Sinestro has to come in and help out. So I went with somebody a little different, but I think it would be really awesome. I went with Keanu Reeves. I think he has an interesting look to him. He can really play that calm, centered guy, because even when Sinestro is being menacing, he's not like super animated or anything. He's like creepy, like, oh no, like you're a believer, you're calm, you're cool. And then like, but then when he wants to get intense, he can get intense. And yeah, and not just because I've been growing out my hair like Keanu over the pandemic. But yeah, I think he would be a really interesting choice, and he'd be a little bit older. You could play his age, because they keep playing down his age in everything he does. Keanu's getting older, but then he still has longevity to maybe play Sinestro for a little longer and all that. But yeah, so Keanu Reeves, that's my choice. That was my one in my list where I'm like, this is weird.
Oh man! All right, Darryl, who are you casting for Sinestro?
See, the problem is I keep casting the same guy. As any major villain is always going to be Mads Mikkelsen. You know, so he was my Doctor Doom. It's like when it's a major villain, it's always him. But I thought I need to mix it up. So I once again looked at fan casting. They kept suggesting Luke Evans. I'm not sure who that is, but people have photoshopped him as Sinestro, and it looks really good. But I'm like, yeah, but he's not Mads. Like, okay, all right. So plus, you know, Mads is up in age also. So, right. But that Keanu as Sinestro, like, wow, now I can't stop thinking of it, because the balance that he, you know, and the physicality of it. I'm like, and the sheer fact that never considered him as a, you know, playing a villain. But you know, I remember when they first cast Chris Evans as Captain America, I was the main one going, the guy that was the Human Torch, oh, that'll be awful, and having no idea that he would be hands down, you know, my irreplaceable Cap. So Keanu as Sinestro, wow, that could work. Wow, I like that a lot.
Just don't kill his dog.
Oh man,
no.
All right, so you went with Luke, but you're thinking Keanu now. Okay. I just I pulled a John here, because as soon as Darryl started talking, I went like, guys, I said Luke Evans.
Oh, well, have you seen the pictures, the Photoshop?
I haven't seen the Photoshop pictures, but
that's what convinced me. It's like, okay. Oh, he does look like.
He was Gaston in the live action Beauty and the Beast. He was Owen Shaw in the Fast and Furious series. So like, I think like 6 through 8, he's been like the main bad guy in those movies. So okay. I get it. He's a younger, like that was my hesitation. He's closer to like a John Krasinski's age. Yeah. But I felt like, because I was thinking of what Todd was saying, you're going to go a Green Lantern, you know, probably the younger version anyways, that then you could go a little bit younger in that. And maybe we don't see a lot of Hal off the bat, you know, and if we're doing this. And so I was like, or at least in the flashbacks, however they want to portray to get, you know, Sinestro as Green, I went with Luke Evans, because I thought the look, I thought he has that sense of just like, he can play over the top, but he can just play like calm, like, and you look at him, you go, ooh, all right, no, like he's not messing around. So I went with Luke Evans for my Sinestro.
Well, and I, as much as I dislike the Hobbit films that Peter Jackson made, he's in those as like the lead human hero character. Like, so, you know, Viggo or Luke Evans, I feel like you're getting a great Lord of the Rings character out of this.
I don't remember that character in my version of it. He's not in it. It's really weird.
Somebody has to kill Smaug.
It's just, yes. Those Photoshop pictures of Luke Evans as Sinestro are really great. But I still think Keanu's like face shape and everything, because Sinestro's like long. He's already like set up to like be slightly modified to be this really like, And then you got the facial hair. He's got facial hair for days. Whatever you need to do, whatever version of Sinestro's facial hair you want to do, he's set.
I'm just looking at the fan shop photos of Sinestro, Luke Evans. Like,
it's nuts.
That mustache. Oh man,
He's got it.
It's wild.
All right, gang. Where are we heading for our final character?
This is
Still voting Luke. Still voting Luke.
Yeah, I think you could swing me to Luke Evans. I totally considered going with Keanu Reeves, and I was just like, God, can I? And Luke Evans and Keanu were both on my list. I just skewed way too old for me, but it's like something about that Viggo Mortensen was like I just had to mention this.
I think it's really cool.
And then Luke Evans still checks that box because hey, he's a Lord of the Rings good guy. So there you
go. So John, you're swaying to Luke. Darryl, are you sticking with Luke?
Yes.
I like Keanu as well. So I think we're gonna do this. Here's what we'll say, Todd. We're gonna go Luke, and if Luke turns us down, we'll
the backup. Keanu Reeves is the backup.
Keanu is our backup Sinestro. If Luke's like, nah, guys,
he's starving for work, so he'll wait. If he can get it, he'll be really excited about it.
Said no casting director ever.
Yes.
So
if we can't get Luke Evans, we'll get Keanu.
We'll get Keanu if we have to.
If we can't. So we have nailed down our Hal Jordan as John Krasinski, Jon Stewart as Sterling K. Brown, Jessica Cruz as Melissa Firmo, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then our Kyle Rayner is going to be Tyler Posey. And then our Sinestro is Luke Evans, gang. We did it.
One of those is right. Good job, everybody.
Which one?
Jessica Cruz nailed it. That was a good list.
So good.
And Todd, we're having Joseph Gordon-Levitt come in as Nightwing.
That's
we
true.
can write him in somehow.
Well, yeah. Hey guys.
Oh
no, that would be. Oh man, that's a dream movie. As much as I joke, that sounds amazing. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That
does.
Oh.
So
I wish we had a good one that this didn't hurt so bad to do this and be like,
right?
but at least we have crickets.
Oh man. Well, this was a lot of fun, everyone. Thank you all for just taking some time. Before I let you guys go, if you had a Green Lantern storyline that could go to the big screen, doesn't even have to rely on our castings. I'm popping this on you guys. You guys don't know I was gonna ask. What would you guys say like you'd like to see this storyline? And you could get as in depth of like, I want the DCEU to lead up to this, whatever. Is there a storyline you're like, I want
Blackest Night? I want DCU's should have been, it's their best universe wide story that they've done. And they should have been building to it all along, having hints of it, and then let Green Lantern come in late like it is now. And you're seeing all of it filter into this awesome blockbuster. You got zombies, you got lasers, you got action, you get all the superheroes either alive or dead. You could kill them along the way and be like, oh, dang, I can't believe they killed him. It's like, nah, Black Lantern, and like bring everybody back and do this cool reset and recast. And like, it would have been perfect. I don't think we're getting that, but that's my dream. Oh man.
Would you guys have a different one, or you guys like, nah, that would have been the dream?
I would have gone with 0 Hour because we've got a good combination of heroes and villains having a good highlights and story arcs. Yeah.
Ooh, I like that.
It's a fun one.
It's a good one.
I'm still kind of partial to the Sinestro Corps War. Like anything that puts Sinestro front and center, I think is going to probably like tick the boxes for me. So I would probably lean towards that one. But again, I think just like everybody's saying, like you kind of need to build to those sorts of things. They're such big events. Absolutely. The journey of Sinestro to villain and then the war, I think it's all kind of like several stories in.
But you don't get White Lantern Sinestro, which is really
it's fact. I mean, that's true.
Well, gang, man, this was a lot of fun. Just talking Green Lantern, casting our fan cast for it. DC, watch this video. We've made it for you on a silver platter. Like, just take it now.
What more could you ask for?
Right? Thank you all so much for just giving up some of your time so we could just laugh and have this conversation. So with that being said,
Absolutely.
hopefully you can find some time to curl up, grab a book, and nerd out. Peace.
Peace.